So now you've taken that passion with the toys and turned it into, I don't want to say turn it into a business, but you kind of have your finger on the pulse of internally, like, you're getting your own figures made outside of, any corporate, not WWE, it's not another company, but it's you and Hawkins are doing this straight with Super 7. Did you already tell them that it's in your contract that you get the paint masters and the hard copies, or what?
No, I did not. But it's funny because when we started the podcast about 2 years ago, we knew we wanted to do it. But the first episode, I just listened to it back. It's 45 minutes. There's no format. We're like, oh, don't worry. This is gonna be a 45-minute thing every week. It's now turned into this 3-hour show. We have a YouTube channel. We have like a subscription service on Patreon. We have all that. We do live shows. It's really snowballed in a way that we couldn't have predicted, because we just thought the podcast would be for other guys, adult wrestling fans who were collecting figures. We didn't think that we'd get people to recollect, or get people who never collected before. So it's kind of grown so fast and so organically, where luckily we've been able to work out deals with companies like Super 7, or even Ringside Collectibles have made the major Wrestle Figure podcast figures. So it's so cool to, have that creative outlet. And for so long, while we were in WWE, that was our only creative outlet, because WWE, it's work. It's a TV show. It's a job. Everyone wants to win every match and be the world champion. Sorry, it doesn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. That's cool. But for this podcast, anything that we wanted to do, we're our own bosses. We could do it. Like we say, scratch that figure itch. That's it. That's our catchphrase. So we made back scratchers. Why not? And it's like, and we've learned, because we're collectors, like how to market these collectibles. Like, listen, we're not going to order 5,000 back scratches. We're going to order 100. We're going to hype them up like crazy. And we're going to, if people miss out, we want them to fear missing out. We want them to be like scared to death about missing out. And we've done that for all of our merchandise. Everything is low run. Everything we believe, that the demand has to be greater than the supply.
Right.
We don't want stock of any of this stuff. We want people to miss out. And I know that sounds horrible. We put out so much stuff so everyone gets a chance to get something. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to talk about it because I missed your ringside figures already, so I'm not happy about that.
You and me both. I missed out on it too. I filmed myself missing out on it. I thought it was going to be a nice, happy video of me getting them, and the website crashed, and I didn't get them. I had to get them from a fan. I had to buy them from a fan.
Did you really? They didn't put anything aside for you.
So here's the thing, like they could have, but I wanted to be in there. I think something we preach on the podcast, and why I think the podcast has been so successful. Same with the old YouTube show, is like authenticity. And like people they want real, you know what I'm saying? So if we're in there with them and we're relatable, I think that's what draws them to us. So like, yeah, of course there's certain perks. Like, okay, sorry, like we are, superstars. So like, for instance, NECA sent me their Comic-Con exclusive early. Like, yes, I do get a couple perks. I'm not going to lie, for sure. But for this Casey Jones and the Raphael, NECA sent it to me also. But I still want to find it in my sick head. It doesn't count. I want to find it in the store. So today, I want to find it in the wild. Exactly. It's sick. I know. There's something wrong with me mentally, but it's my drug. I want to find them.
But you got a backup in case you don't.
In this case, I do, but it doesn't always happen that way, And there's so many things that I miss out on, like whether it be like special T-shirts that I like, or it's not just figures. Like the sneaker community, I've learned, is I'm not a sneaker guy, but it's just as bad, if not worse, with the drops and the website crashes. Yeah. So I feel like the figures are finally starting to get accepted, like I said earlier, because like, nobody makes fun of people for collecting comic books anymore. Yeah. Nobody makes fun of people for playing video games anymore. I think it's only a matter of time before figures are accepted as well. And that's kind of what we're doing with this podcast, trying to, we're not, 100% responsible. We want to just have that small piece of being responsible. We want to help the community, and not just wrestling figures, but in general, the figure community, figure community. We're all about that.
Yeah. I mean, and it keeps feeding your habit, and it keeps feeding our habits. So
100%. You know, if we can get one new fan, you know, a day, and then he tells a couple people, and it's word of mouth, and it's going to be a slow and steady race. But I think if we're all in it together, you know, we can do it. And you look at like Star Wars, right? Like how insane Star Wars Celebration, just the amount of product that's out there. You know, Disney just built an entire world for a whole land. So I mean, like, and there's really nothing cool about Star Wars, you know what I'm saying, from the outsider's perspective, but it's finally being accepted. You know, 1993, 94, Star Wars was a dead brand. It was over. Like you couldn't go into before the Powers of the Force too. Could you go into a Walmart or Target, buy a Star Wars shirt or a toy? It was over. You could get some Bendhams maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, those Bendhams.
It was the people holding on.
It was like the soft opening to the relaunch of them was that Bendham was it? They
right.
Single packs and that 5-pack or whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely soft. I don't think it ever went fully away, but it sure wasn't something they were marketing on a regular basis. Like there wasn't whole sections of the stores.
Right.
And so
right.
Yeah,
I think it's ridiculous. Like now, you know, whether it be Star Wars or wrestling or these Ninja Turtles that I'm looking for are based off a movie that came out in 1990. You know, like
did you see
I
the
really
coming
don't
out of
think
our shells figures?
Right, exactly. Like, I don't think there's like a 7-year-old kid who wants those. There's no way. No way. 30s, 40s, 50s. That's who grew up on those brands and who are wanting and buying these figures. They're adult collectibles. I'm sorry, they are.
And then for sure, like even if we didn't like the coming out of our shell tour, going to the Ninja Turtles, here we are looking back saying I have to have those figures, because even though we didn't like it back then because it wasn't cool, now it's cool because that's just where the industry's gone, and where I don't know, it's just like we found our legions of other nerds and geeks that are with us that are collecting and
absolutely. That's the best part is like, you know, things that were so bad back in the day are now they're like celebrated.
Yeah,
it's incredible. I absolutely love it. You know, whether it be those coming out of their shells tour, there's certain like wrestling figures that were so bad that now are like the hottest thing.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, people now, you know, they're very nostalgic of their childhood, whether it was something they hated or something they liked, they want a piece of it.
Yep. So I was pretty sad that Star Wars Celebration got canceled this year.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I've ever been to was the Orlando one a couple years ago. That was it.
Yep.
So I had a great time there. You know, everything's getting canceled this year. You know, the whole, whether it be Comic-Con, WrestleMania, Celebration. So hopefully next year everything's going to come back and be better than ever. We can only hope.
Yeah, I hope so. The celebration will be 2022 is the new date.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, but Reed Pop is the company that runs that show. We work a lot of events with them in and out of the country, actually some international dates as well. And if everything gets back to where it needs to be, they're going to have some pretty cool announcements for next year. I think to fill in some of that fandom different. They just announced a new launch online with Marvel to have exclusive product with Marvel product.
Right.
So they're definitely keeping busy. So I don't want to wait till 22 for Star Wars, but we'll get the gaps filled in. What do you think of Mandalorian?
I love Mandalorian. I'm a huge fan of all this new Star Wars stuff, you know, whether it be the cartoons or the movies. If do I love it all? There's some things that I don't like, but I still like that it's there, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I might not agree with all the decisions, but I'm not writing Star Wars. I don't think I can do a better job. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy that we can still go to the theater and watch a Star Wars movie. We go into a Walmart, buy a Star Wars toy, you know, go to Walmart, get a t-shirt, you know, like we can do, there's Star Wars everywhere and I love it.